Hey guys, it's Callie and welcome back to my channel. And today I review some of the animes from the spring 2021 season. So another anime season has come and gone, and there were a lot of new series this season, and so I really wanted to talk about a few of the ones that I kept up with. Also, fair warning, my taste is trash, so please don't take any of these opinions too seriously. But before we get to that, if you're new to my channel or if you're a new subscriber, welcome. I make weekly videos about anime, animation, or really whatever's on my mind at the time. So if that sounds like something that interests you, be sure to check out the other videos on my channel and subscribe if you want to see more. Alright, so without further ado, let's get into my sleeper hit of the season, Backflip. So I talked about this series when it first came out, and in a previous video I went into more details about the story and the hype behind it, so if you want to see my initial impression of the series, go check out that video. But I did mention that the pacing felt a little bit slow and like a lot of it was filler and there wasn't really a lot of substance. But man, did things take a turn in episode 8. The last quarter of the season is almost unrecognizable as we suddenly go from these relaxed, happy-go-lucky vibes to intense competition and conflict. I remember thinking that maybe rhythm gymnastics wasn't the best for a sports anime because you aren't directly competing against another team, so that intensity might be missing. But that really wasn't the case. Episode 11 is an amazing episode and easily the best one of the season. The stakes are suddenly raised and you're really invested and the hype is there. Not to mention this episode is just beautiful to look at. The entire series is beautiful, but they really made episode 11 shine. The art style is stunning and they do such an amazing job at setting the tone and the mood for the episode. When it comes time for the rival team to compete, it's dead silence and you're tuned into what's going to happen. Also, this episode is incredibly impressive from an animation standpoint. They have not one but two full-length gymnastics routines, which is kind of insane. It's so beautiful to watch, and I can't imagine the amount of effort and hard work that went into making this series. Yes, some moves don't look the cleanest, but I don't think I've ever seen a series animate something this complex for this amount of time. Honestly, I could talk about this series all day and low-key kind of want to make a video about it because the last 4 episodes are so much and I have so many thoughts about them. But overall, I would have to say the first half of the series definitely lagged and was kind of full of filler, but the last episodes were incredible, so I'm gonna give this series a 7 out of 10. Next up, we have Koikimo, which is a romance with a spicy twist. It was one of the leading romance animes of spring, so I had to watch it, and it was fine. After saving Ryo from falling down the stairs, Ichika finds herself on the receiving end of his very earnest affections. The catch? She's 17 and he's 27. Great. The show does an okay job of dealing with this age gap. They bring it up a lot and it's a major discussion point in their relationship as they begin to go closer, so I'll give it a hesitant pass. But like, can we just get a nice romance anime with 2 consenting adults, please? Love is Hard for Otaku is amazing, and since we're not getting a season 2 of that, can you please give us something else? Because you can have romance outside of high school. Also, mini spoiler alert, I know that a lot of people have gripes about romance animes ending right as the 2 main characters get together, and this show is a prime example of that. The couple gets together literally 7 minutes before the end of the series, which feels like a new record. But overall, ignoring the age thing, the show was a little bit slow, but kind of cute at some times, and I'd be lying if I didn't enjoy it, so I'm gonna give this series a 6.5 out of 10. Speaking of grown men and high schoolers, next up we have Hikihiro, which is short for Hikihiro, after I got rejected, I shaved and took in a high school runaway. Sick. But the show is basically just that. The male lead, Yoshihida, is rejected, shaves, and then takes in the high school runaway Sayu. But I do want to say I didn't watch the show willingly. I checked the show out after I saw a bunch of TikToks defending the show, saying that it isn't gross, nothing happens between the two of them, and that it's actually pretty wholesome. But the show isn't terrible. Yoshihida does have a platonic, or rather a non-physical relationship with Sayu, and does seem to just care about her well-being. But boy does this show love to toe the line. Sayu brings up having sex with Yoshihida to thank him multiple times, which yes, does stem from her backstory, but they're still showing a high school girl propositioning herself in her underwear to a grown man, which if they just have a platonic relationship, I don't think is necessary. I also want to point out that even though technically nothing happens between Yoshihida and Sayu while she's a minor, she does come back when she graduates high school and asks to spend the night with him again, so I don't know if people should be defending this series as hard as they are. It's like that TikTok, I ain't never seen 2 pretty best friends, except it's I ain't never seen 2 romance leads who are adults, always one of them gotta be in high school. Also, high school thing aside, the show's plot doesn't make a lot of sense. For example, there's like 2 other women who are also in love with him, but we never get to learn more about it. Like, I still don't know what his relationship is with this one woman, and whatever. So in summary, mediocre plot, shady limits, confusing characters, 5 out of 10. Leaving the romance genre, next up we have Duran, the Princess of Snow and Blood. Now I watched the series and I think I enjoyed it. I don't know, the pacing was really weird because it felt like both nothing and everything was happening at the same time. The story is great, but the arcs felt like they were over so quickly that it was hard to get attached to any of the characters since, spoiler alert, a lot of them randomly die. But overall, I think I enjoyed it. The animation was really fun to watch and I did find myself really invested in certain arcs, so 6 out of 10. Next up is the Snow White notes, which I have not finished yet, but plan to. Truthfully, I just didn't have time to finish this series, but I did like what I saw. It seems like a really nice coming of age story, and it was really cool to listen to the shamisen in the opening. No rating, but I recommend checking it out. The last show I watched, which is my top pick for the season, is Burning Katabi. I talked about my initial impressions of this series in my backflip video, so again, go check it out if you haven't already. And the show was such a solid sports anime. There was hype, character development, competition, and they did an amazing job explaining the rules of the game so you could follow along. It was also really funny, and I often found myself laughing at certain parts because of just how ridiculous it was. My only critique of the show is that I wish it was longer. I thought the pacing of the show was pretty good, but looking back, we really only saw 2 practice matches. We didn't even get close to going to the tournament. So I really hope that there's a season 2 because I would love to see more of this. It's no Haikyu by any means, and it does lean more towards comedy than most sports anime, but it works. If you like sports anime, I really recommend checking this out. I loved it, it was my top pick for this season, and I really wanted season 2 to be cleared, so go check it out. 8 out of 10. But yeah, those are kind of some of my thoughts and reviews of some of the animes from this past spring season. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to like and subscribe if you aren't already, and let me know what you guys think. Do you have a different opinion about a series that I mentioned? Is there a show that I didn't watch that you recommend checking out? I know that right now there's a lot of hype for 2 Year Eternity and Tokyo Revengers, but I just haven't had time to check them out yet, so let me know if it's worth it in the comments below. But yeah, that'll do it for this video. Thank you guys so much for watching and for your continued support. It really means so much to me, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye!